Good morning. The day after Milton. Hold on, I gotta cover this up. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hang in there with me. There we go. So, far from me, from where I'm at. I usually have two people that I have to see in this one place, but today is only one. And the other individual's having a reevaluation scheduled. So, what I decided to do is because by the time I drive there, it's going to be lunch, and I'm not allowed to interfere with somebody's lunchtime. That's a no-no, right? There's a couple things you cannot do. As a therapist, or as any other professional, when you're going to see someone, you don't want to go during breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Unless you're requesting. But that's the way it happens. And I'm going to stop to get gas along the way. And I got to eyeball where I can get gas because some of these places are out of gas. Because people in Broward started to panic. They started to panic. And then on top of it, we had a lot of people who evacuated from the west coast of Florida. They crossed over Alligator Alley, and they hunkered down here. Last night we went by I went by a Walmart and the Sam's Club, and the parking lots were full of people. In RVs, campers, some people were in their minivans. They had their minivans set up as like a little miniature camper. Kudos to them. They get out of harm's way. And now if you look at the news, they're all headed back. The roads are jam-packed going back over to heading back over to the west coast. And a lot of the people are telling you don't come yet because there are still areas that are flooded. There's still some areas without power. But I know people want to get home. I don't blame them. They want to check out what's going on. And pretty disgusting. As most people, if you ask talking heads, right? You don't ask them. They're pretty partisan. But if you ask people, they will tell you. If you talk to people, let me rephrase that. If you talk to the residents of Florida, you're gonna get that they're very happy with DeSantis and his response. I mean, over the years, anyone will tell you that he's done a great job during these crises. Look at this guy. This guy's got like 4 generators in his car. Pretty good, man. How are you? You're pretty popular, right? He's the man. So hang in there. I'm just filling up, getting some gas. All right, here we go. That's not good. I gotta. All right, back on the road. Just got some gas. The gas stations in Broward were running out of gas because people were panicking. They were filling up their cars. And then we had people coming over from the west coast of Florida who had evacuated here, and they had evacuated here, and they were filling up too. So it created a little bit of a problem. But this morning, looks like the fuel tanks are getting filled up. The place I was just at had no problem. There was no problem getting gas. And as I was sitting there getting gas, a gas truck pulled up. So that was pretty good. But they dropped the tropical storm warnings for Broward County, but they put us under a wind advisory. So, and it's pretty windy. So that's that. But it is beautiful. I mean, it was 78 degrees at 8 o'clock this morning. Now it's 11:15 and it's 87 degrees, but it feels great. It feels great. The humidity's down and we have a breeze, so it is just very pleasant. So I'm on my way to go see someone, but I can't see this person until like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So instead of going home and sitting around, I said, you know what? Let me go see what's going on at the beach. Let's go down and take a drive on the beach. I'd like to see what's going on with people who have electric cars. They're talking about, I don't know how many people, they're talking about millions of people without electricity. I don't know about that. I think there's a little less than that. They were talking about certain areas, 60,000 people without power, 50,000 people without power. And it's kind of like you get lucky, right? You get lucky. It's strange. It's like you can have power to your home, and then directly across the street, everyone in that block has no power. And it just depends where on the grid you fall. You could have, during the storm, about 1 o'clock in the morning, our lights flickered. Our lights flickered off and on. I mean, barely noticeable, but it could have happened so fast. But it knocked everything offline. There's people that don't have. So I'm going to take the long way. My van here, I've been having some problems with my van, and I'm thinking this person on this scooter, dangerous, man, dangerous. The person made a U-turn and barely could keep the scooter upright. Scary. Unsafe. If you're driving a scooter and you get to go slow, balance to give it some gas, some electricity. You gotta hit that throttle a little bit so you can keep your balance. It's kind of weird when I rode a motorcycle for the first time. It's better. Strange, haven't had any, not very many people. I got a truck next to me. I got this Rivian electric truck. It looks pretty cool. Amazon's using their vehicles, but they're losing their ass. Rivian is losing their ass. If it wasn't for Volkswagen, I think Volkswagen just gave them a $5 billion investment. And I think if Volkswagen wouldn't have done that, I think this company would go belly up. I don't like to see any startups go belly up. But one of the problems is that when the big three, they're cutting back, on their EV production, then these independent companies that all they do is do EVs, they don't have any other model that they can sell. They get in trouble financially. When you become a one-trick pony, you limit yourself. So yeah, as you can see, everyone, it's a beautiful day in Broward County. Heading down to Fort Lauderdale Beach. This is kind of a long way, and we're about to pass. We're Inter Miami, and Messi and the boys play. It's where they practice and where they play. And I think another year, next year, I think they'll be in the new stadium. I know it's full speed ahead down there with that stadium. See if I can give you a little bit of I'll take the phone out of the cradle here in a minute. Let's see if I can give you a shot of Chase Stadium. So this stadium's nothing fancy. They built it quickly. Beckham's partner, I think it's the Moss brothers. They are in the construction business, and when they got the approvals, they throw this up fast. Here, I'm going to take you off, and I'm going to show you Commercial Boulevard, and that's the stadium in beyond the trees. That's where Messi and them play soccer, right there. Chase, Inter Miami CF. That's the stadium. When I was a kid, hey, put your back on the cradle. When I was a kid, that was so that's the stadium, and on the other side of the stadium is their training ground. And you could sit there on the road and be able to watch them. Now they put up like a privacy screen, so you can't see them when they're out there. But when I was a kid, that's where the New York Yankees used to practice spring training. And you could park on the side of the road, sit on your hood, and you could watch them. You could watch them practice. You could go in the stadium and watch them, or you could sit out on the road. They had these little places, it wasn't like a big stadium. They had little areas where you could just like watch, or you could see them. And this goes back a long ways. I mean, when I was a kid, over 50, probably 50 years ago. When I was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And they had big stars. And then over time, the stadium was crap. The practice facility had gone downhill, and a lot of the baseball teams used to have spring training here. You had the Baltimore Orioles was down in Miami at one time. They used to play at Miami Stadium, and then little by little, they went to different places. They started going out west to Arizona, places like that, where they didn't have to worry about weather. Some of the spring trainings now is on the west side of Florida. I think Boston spring training over there. And it's funny, they put their spring training there, and a lot of people from Massachusetts or Boston area, and when they retired, they kind of moved there. You have a lot of people in that area, former, and they go to the games. They go to the spring training games. It's like a whole ecosystem. I don't know if you saw the news, but the Tropicana Field, I think that's where Tampa Bay Rays play baseball. The roof got ripped off, and I mean, thank goodness it's not baseball season. And I haven't heard of anyone getting hurt, so I think they were using it as a staging area. Hey, if there's anybody in the chat, like the video so I know you're in the chat. It shows there's 2 people. If someone send me an emoji or like the video, anybody, so I know if I'm just talking to myself. But yeah, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the beach. So it's Thursday and the schools are closed, so I'm wondering if sometimes during the week the beaches aren't that busy and you can park anywhere. And then there's times like there was no school yesterday or today. And I'm sure if they knew the weather was going to be this good, they probably would have had school. You know, when they don't have school, it puts a burden on the parents, you know, because we have work, and then we got to figure out what we're going to do with our kids. And you'll get an email. You'll get an email from the if you use aftercare or if you use these places, they'll use these after care places or these daycares. They'll send you a notice saying, "Hey, we'll be open tomorrow, and you know we'll take some of the kids." But yeah, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the beach. We're a couple miles away, and then I'm on Commercial Boulevard. So once I hit the beach area, then I'm gonna head south towards where I gotta go, and I'll take us along the beach. And I may even pull over and give you a view of the beach itself. I was pushing one of my patients in a wheelchair, and my left elbow popped. I don't know what that was, but it's kind of tender now. I don't know if you can see it on video, but I can understand why now they put a wind warning up. It's pretty windy. It's fine. It's 11:30, and it's 80, still 87. It says my car says it's still 87. So we are getting down to Commercial and Federal Highway. There's a sign: US 1 North, US 1 South, or straight ahead to A1A into the beaches. So we are heading straight. that insurance company we just passed on the right used to be a real fancy place called Chuck's Steakhouse for many, many years. And then the group of, I knew one of the owners. He was part of a group of about 5 people that owned they owned like 4 or 5, 3 or 4 restaurants. Chuck's Steakhouse, Mango's, another place, so I think 3. And they eventually sold off all the locations, one by one, by the way. They didn't try to sell it as a group. They took each individual one and they sold each location one by one. I should have took my son and just dropped him off on the beach, man. He's 14. I was doing that when I was a kid. He's got his little debit card with about $40 on it. He could have grabbed some lunch, something to eat. Wore his board shorts. He could have got a look. It's so funny how all the shops change. Start getting down here towards near the beach, get a lot of dive centers, independent companies, like a lot of little dive shops. And if anyone knows anything about Fort Lauderdale, especially, I don't know if it's the greatest diving area. I hear a lot of people complain because we have strong current along the beach. Our current, because of the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream runs up from the Keys, out of the Caribbean. It goes up the east coast of the United States, and it churns up the water pretty good. So we don't, and that's my opinion. When you're at the beach, Fort Lauderdale Beach, and you put on goggles, your diving goggles, it's still cloudy. Visibility is a few feet. Maybe if you go way offshore and you go wreck diving, it might be better. But it's not a real good place, in my opinion, to, like, a lot of people. You might see people who try to beach dive, and to me, it's not the greatest. A lot of places in Fort Lauderdale, when you do your diving certification, what they do is they train you in a pool, and then they take you out to the beach to do a beach dive for your certification. Uptown Keys is Greek cuisine. That for a long time was ranked the number one. They had the number one fried chicken. Keys had the number one fried chicken in Broward County. They don't even make the top 5 anymore. And what they do is, I just like plain. If you're gonna say, hey, we're gonna have fried chicken, it's just fried chicken, right? You just take a few pieces of chicken, and then you just fry them. Now, people are mixing them. They're putting all kinds of stuff in them. They're putting all kinds of this, all kinds of that. Decorating it, making it look good. All right, I'll shut up about that. So straight ahead from this light, another couple hundred yards, and you'd be on the beach. There's a pier there, and it is freaking windy, man. I don't know if you can see the palm trees. The palm trees are waving pretty hard. Got some chick here in her pink suit right there. She looks like she's a little older. And I think she's taking her time to cross the street. And I think she's with someone, and the guy over there who's waiting for her with his hands crossed, he don't look too happy. I don't know, you're out for a walk, and you're dressed like that. I mean, you're dressed to impress, lady. Alright, so this is A1A from Commercial heading south. These are a lot of the little motels mom and pop motel. Some of it bought out. The Blue Strawberry on the left's been there forever. This Horizon's been here forever. And they're just a lot of these places are getting renovated. But we'll come down. I've taken this drive with you guys before. I just wanted to see what because we're under a wind condition. I wanted to see what was going on. This Rivian truck with the Georgia Bulldog license plate, and we've been going the same direction. Maybe he's got the same idea. Let me see. There's a sign. Boat show. October 30th through November 3rd is the Fort Lauderdale boat show. So I'm not changing lanes because what's going to happen is this right-hand lane's going to disappear up here, and then everyone's got to merge over anyway. So if I merge just to get up 3 or 4 cars, then you're going to fall right back in line. So here's a sign: Fort Lauderdale by the Sea, come back soon. So we're currently in what they call Lauderdale by the Sea. Locals call it by the sea. And now we cross this Flamingo Avenue and we turn into Fort Lauderdale. This hotel here has its own tiki bar. It's packed. A lot of people at U-Hauls. I mean, it is packed. They got people. Yeah, that's got to be people who evacuated, because this is not. I don't think it's snowbird season yet. It's getting there. Usually for us in Fort Lauderdale, I think it's Yom Kippur coming up this weekend. As soon as Yom Kippur is over, that's the way it used to be. I don't know how it is now, but when I worked I think at some point we've all had jobs in the tourism, whether it's a hotel job or it's a restaurant job or some type of job, right? You have something, and usually the signal for snowbird season is it used to be November 1st. Some people for some people it's right after the Jewish New Year. I think Yom Kippur, as soon as that's over, then people start coming down. You'll start seeing the trailers. You'll start seeing trailers that have their cars, like they'll transport their cars down. All right, so we're coming up to the next intersection. This is Oakland Park Boulevard. And if you have ever heard of Moderano's Italian restaurant, a lot of famous people dine there. It's been an institution. Steve Moderano. He posts a lot of things on Instagram. You see Ludacris will be there. A lot of actors. A lot of the Soprano actors, the former Soprano actors. A lot of good fellas, former actors. But Ludacris, he's there quite often. I think he lives in Fort Lauderdale. But Moderano's is open, I think Tuesday through Saturday. I think they're closed on Sundays and Mondays. And I think he instituted that policy last year to spend more time. He's like 65 now or something like that. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's built a great brand. But I don't know what happens with that brand when he passes, or he not passes, but he retires, or something were to happen. Because I don't know. I don't think he's married. Pretty sure he's not married, and unfortunately, I think his son had passed away. His son passed away. I think he only had one son, because I don't see him advertise any other kids. So, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. You know, you can go to the supermarket. They sell his sauce in the supermarket. But all right, so we're coming up now on. Like I said, this lane's going to go down to one lane, and then you're going to see the beach. We're going to get a view of the beach coming up on our left-hand side because we're heading south. Pretty windy. See the palm trees waving, and I still got some time. Wow, the beach looks pretty busy. The beach is busy. It's funny. I live, like I told you, I live about 12 miles west towards the Everglades. The people that live on the beach versus the people that live inland, it's a completely different way of life. It's different. It's a different way of life. These houses on the right, behind these walls, big money, and that's strictly because of location. Location, location, location. And over the years, they've been renovated. These two houses on the right with the brown wall there, that's new. I watched that one built. That one was being built, the one next to it, at the same time. So it may have been the same developer. So I'm looking at the beach. It's windy, but the ocean's pretty flat. There's a Cybertruck. Looks like it's been wrapped. Donzi. I thought it says Donzi. So, yeah, quite a few cars here. You don't see all these cars usually during the week. But like I said, the school's closed. The school's closed, and some people take off. Like in my office, if the kids aren't working, if the kids aren't in school or something comes up, then the parents usually have to leave. They stay home. They take their computers home because they can work from the house. Man, that lady had some bow legs. Bow legs. All right. Every time I see someone bow legs, I think about Jaws. And they're all on the boat. And he goes, I want to make a toast. And he says, here's to swimming with bow-legged women. Remember that scene? So we had a lot of problems with flooding, coastal flooding. This road, when we had what we call king tides, which is like when the moon is pulling the hardest and the tides are high, this area would flood. And this area would flood. So what they've done over the years is they built like a protective berm. They put a wall up and they put sand on the other side of it, and you guys can see. And they put trees, and they've created like almost like a wall, a protective wall from the. And it's kind of worked because when we get the flooding, when we get high tides and king tides, this area doesn't flood anymore. But they had a real problem. It was flooding, and then one time even the road collapsed. It washed away part of the road. So, yeah, this is busy, man. So, it's only Thursday. If it was Friday, I could see. Now what you have the beach on your left, and then this is A1A. Then over here on the right is a park. But on the other side of that park is the Intracoastal Waterway. So boats who don't want to travel the length of the coast in the open water, they can go through the Intercoastal. If your boat height is over like 15 feet, 20 feet, sometimes you got to stop and let the bridges up. And that can be a pain because you got to time them. Because the bridges go up, I believe, during the week it might be every 30 minutes. On the weekends it's every 15 minutes, I believe. But there's one of our lifeguard stands. And it is yellow caution conditions. Alright? So that's what you got. Over there, that hotel on your right is called the Sonesta. But during spring break days, that was the Holiday Inn. And that place was a zoo. It was a zoo. You had hundreds of kids, college kids, walking in and out, running up and down the hallways, raising hell. The doors of the hotel rooms would just be open, and people would wander in and out of people's rooms. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get off this road soon, and once we get past this, traffic should ease up. And I'll start heading over to my patient's place. I'm going to take this all the way down. So I'm going to take this south. And then over the 17th Street Causeway, which is the big bridge. Little activity area here. Tie on the beach. Big Sorley's Irish pub. Always busy. It's a great location. That's your beach on the left. And beautiful. Flat. Problem is, over the years, they've taken out all the parking. It used to be like 2 lanes. This used to be, during the spring break days, just 2 lanes. It was a lane going south and 1 lane going north. And then there was parking on your right and there was parking on your left. And then over the years, they've redeveloped it. So there you go. Beautiful out, right? This flag has green conditions. So, there you go. What they've built over the years, they've built like these little parkings. They've eliminated all the beach parking, and they put in parking lots. And if those lots are full, then you can go to one of the hotels and they'll charge you an arm and a leg. They'll charge you $25-$30 to park for the day. And that's almost standard now everywhere. But all these little Sea Club Resort, that's been there forever. They used to have a nice restaurant right there, but it looks like they've closed that. The Decado, this is the Conrad on your right. That's where the Edmonton Oilers stayed during the Stanley Cup playoffs. John, Abe, why do you know? Because my sister was getting married and they were there. Not at the wedding, but at the hotel. They were just walking around. They were pretty cool. Very nice. I looked at the goaltender, Skinner. I pointed to him and he stopped and looked at me. I went, good luck. And he went, thank you. And I went, as he walked by, I went, not too much though. So he started to chuckle. But we got some traffic going on in this way. What is happening? Oh, lordy, lordy. Sometimes you get a little backup because you have to, per law, if people are in the crosswalks, you have to stop. It's the law. You must stop. The beach is beautiful right now. It is absolutely gorgeous. There you go. Nothing going on. Flat. We are coming up to an area called Sebastian and A1A. The beach on Sebastian and A1A is LBTQW and X, Y, and Z. It is it's a friendly beach. I don't know what's going on. I gotta get out of this thing. Sorry, but Casablanca. That's a nice little cafe. Been there forever. Now this is where you lose sight of the beach because the road heading south on A1A peels away. It goes to the back now. So if you're heading south, you come around the backside of these hotels, the beach, and then you come down. You can make a right at one of these lights, and that's called Las Olas Boulevard, and that'll take you towards downtown Fort Lauderdale, and that's a very famous area, Las Olas. But man, if you can see the palm trees, it is absolutely waving. So yeah, this is this parking lot on the left was the backside of back in the day. I say back in the day. This used to be famous spring break row. You had Penrod. You had Summers on the beach. You had the Button. Famous, iconic spring break areas. 7-Eleven's been there forever. And a restaurant coming up here called Coconuts, that's been there forever. When I worked on the beach 40 years ago, we used to come here to check out the entertainment. If our place was slow, our manager would want to come over here and see if it was busy. She'd take a look around. Take a walk on the beach, just wear a full bodysuit, black. All right. So right here, you can make a left that circles around. It takes you back north. This is the south area parking lot. This is the Bahia Mar Hotels on my right. This is the walkway to go. If you're at the hotel, you can take that walkway, and that'll from the hotel to the beach, and you don't have to cross this busy road. Your choice. And they're in the middle of redeveloping this. If you've ever heard of the Jungle Queen, it's a sightseeing cruise or a sightseeing with dinner cruise. This is where you go to catch it. You have to buy tickets in advance. They have a website. But this area, they're in the middle of redeveloping it. All this right here on your right, these are all new buildings. Sushi Song, Yip, garden bowls, lobster rolls, burgers and shakes, pizza, taco, and then this bar right here. Usually that bar is busy, and it is. They hit the jackpot with the bar. That's the smartest thing they ever did. But that whole area right there used to be boat charters, fishing, independent fishermen. And then this hotel in front called the B Hotel on your left. And from the air you would see it, but that's the shape of a cruise ship. See how pointy it is, and then from the air you would look down, and it looks like a cruise ship. That's been there forever. So now we're kind of leaving the hotel areas. The hotels, little motels, beyond this light here called Holiday Drive. All this is residential. All these places on the right are residential. It's a tough area. I mean, location and everything, but the traffic on the weekends can get really busy. And if you live in there and you don't have a circular driveway, you're gonna have a problem getting out. People, they're not very courteous. You could be trying to back out, and they won't give you a break. They'll just beep at you. You're going 20 miles an hour. All you gotta do is stop, and the people usually back out pretty fast because they know, and then you're on your way in less than 20 seconds. But people don't catch anyone a break. So this is, so now we're heading, this is, we're still on A1A, but it's going to curve, onto the 17th Street Causeway. And you'll get a pretty good bird's eye look. I don't know how it's going to look from my cell phone, but this bridge has been replaced over the years. Maintenance and work. And then the famous Pier 66 Hotel on the right, that's under refurbishment. It's iconic. It's been here forever. I don't like to use that term, but now they've redeveloped it. They've redeveloped this whole area. And they put in these condos on the right. See those condos? It's going to be a cross between the hotel, and then I think people can buy like almost like timeshares. So this big bridge here, they raised it when they built it. So, because the access to the ocean is, as you're looking out the screen, the access to go from the intercoastal to the ocean is on your left. And they've raised this bridge over the years, so only the tallest ships, like you'll see some sailboats once in a while with a mast, can't clear it, but for the most part, most of the boats can go underneath. On the left, look at these guys, they're struggling with the Tour de France. The Tour de France, babe. That's the port is on my left. There's no cruise ships there right now. There's a Disney cruise ship, but this is your view looking north. That's the intercoastal. Those are homes. Those are, that's where people go. And then over here is the convention center, and that's been there many years. And they're redeveloping it, and they're adding this big hotel to it. They're going to put a bypass road for people who are coming off the highway, the expressway. So there's going to be a bypass road that takes you towards the beach more quickly, because the traffic can get pretty bad here. When people during spring break 40 years ago, when we used to cruise the strip, the traffic would be back 10 miles to the point that you'd have to push your car. You would wait 3 or 4, literally, you'd wait 2 hours in heavy traffic, at times pushing your car with the engine off to save gas, just to drive down the strip. That took maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And if you were really lucky, a parking spot would open up and you could pull in and you could sit on the hood of your car or sit on the trunk of your car. And we did that a few times. But that's a thing of the past. That doesn't happen anymore. The elected officials here have really put a kibosh on that. They don't want that. So there you go. That was my tour from Commercial Boulevard to US 1 and the 17th Street Causeway. I hope you enjoyed it. I am about to go see my patient, so I'll catch you guys on the other side. Have a good day.